If you, like me, hated Benedict Bridgerton's book, then I have the perfect book for you. I just read Bringing Down the Duke by Evie Dunmore, and it was amazing. I have never inhaled a book so fast. I gobbled it. I was so hooked. I literally couldn't put it down. I read it in a day, which when you have a full-time job is actually quite impressive. It's set in the 1870s, so it's a little bit after Bridgerton, but it's still got that old school, old money type of vibe. It's very similar to An Offer from a Gentleman in the way that it's a rags to riches Cinderella type story. It doesn't have the masquerade ball at the beginning where he forgets who she is or any of that nonsense, which thank God for that, because I kind of really didn't vibe with that part at all in Benedict's book. But then again, I hated all of Benedict's book because Benedict sucked. In this book, we have Sebastian Devereux Montgomery, and he's a duke. And then we have Annabel Archer, who is a suffragette and one of the first females to be studying at Oxford University. She's not a lady. She is the daughter of a vicar. She is very low class, and she's been essentially working as a maid to her cousin for the last 5 years. And the suffragette movement is essentially paying for Annabel to go to Oxford because she got a scholarship from them. And so in that case, she has to actually help them with their movement. And their main task throughout the book is to amend the Women's Marital Act bill, which basically gives a woman a right to own her own property, which would give a woman a right to vote. It is a very big bill, and they're essentially trying to appease and convince the lords to vote in their favor. And that is how Annabel and the Duke come in contact. And that's essentially the main premise of the story. And without saying any spoilers, what I really did appreciate was how smart these characters were and how communicative they were. There wasn't any weird misunderstandings. They were very honest with each other all the time, and I really, really liked that aspect. Minor spoilers going forth, so if you don't want to have anything spoiled and you just want to go read the book, please go read the book. It was so good. There were so many beats within this book that was similar to An Offer from a Gentleman, especially the fact that Sebastian asks Annabel to be his mistress. But in An Offer from a Gentleman, Benedict essentially wants to force Sophie to be his mistress on pain of literal death. He essentially says, you either be my mistress or you work for my mother, or I will turn you over to the magistrate for theft and you'll get hung, hanged, or sent to Australia. It is so insane that he does this, and I hated it. It soured the whole book for me, and it only really got worse from there. Whereas Sebastian, in Bringing Down the Duke, does not do this. While he does try to convince Annabel to become a mistress to him, he also is understanding of her reasonings not to be. And as much as it clearly pains them, he doesn't try to force the issue any more than she allows. What I also think really helps is that Annabel and Sebastian are actually equally matched on an intellectual level. And it's also important to note that in this book, Annabel does not want to become a mistress, but she also doesn't want to marry him because she knows the scandal it will bring, because she knows what it will do to his dukedom and to her, and so she doesn't want any part of that. And so she's wrestling with the fact that she has feelings for this person that can never come to be. I thought it was such an enjoyable, well-written book because these were characters who were both equally aware of the situation and what was going on, and both equally listening to the other. There are 4 books in this series, and each of them revolve around one of the 4 women that we meet in this first book, one of the 4 suffragettes, and I'm so excited to read the next ones because this is exactly what I needed to get out of the Bridgerton slump. But if you are looking for books to get out of the Bridgerton slump, I'm going to be throwing recommendations at you because I have so many. Because I got really ill last week and read 5 books in 1 week, and so I've just been absorbing it all. They're so good. There's so much out there. Get ready. And Benedict Bridgerton, I have not forgiven you. I will never forgive you. And if your season is anything like your book, I will bring down the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse on your ass. Bringing Down the Duke by Evie Dunmore. Read it.